Bring the moon. Interesting story ever. Once upon a time, there was a king. His 10-year-old daughter, Princess Lenore, fell ill. Many doctors were called, but no one could understand her illness. The king was distressed and wondered what he could do to make his beloved daughter better. He asked her what she wanted, and she said, "I want the moon. If you bring me the moon, I will get better." Hearing this, the king became sorrowful, but he had to do whatever it took to cure his daughter. So without delay, he called for a court meeting. He wanted to consult with his ministers, hoping they would find a solution. First, the royal treasurer was called. The king explained everything and asked, "Treasurer, you have done a lot for us so far. Can you bring the moon for the princess?" The treasurer was shocked and said, "What can I do? I can bring precious diamonds and jewels, but the moon." A look of worry crossed his face. The king, disappointed, let him go. Next, the royal sorcerer was summoned. The king asked, "Can you bring the moon for the princess?" The sorcerer remained silent and then replied, "Your Majesty, I can transform anything into any form, but the moon, no one can bring the moon." Frustrated, the king ordered, "Call the royal mathematician." The mathematician came, and the king asked, "You can make great calculations. Tell me, how can the moon be brought? Can you calculate its location?" The mathematician calculated and explained that the moon was so many miles away from the earth and its size could be half of the kingdom's area. Therefore, bringing the moon was impossible. The king's hopes were fading. Finally, the court jester stepped forward. He bowed to the king who, in tears, said, "Until my daughter has the moon, she will not get better. Can you bring the moon?" The jester smiled and said, "Yes. Why not?" The king was astonished. The jester continued, "Your Majesty, first we need to know how big a moon the princess wants." The king took the jester to the princess's room. The jester asked the princess, "What size moon do you want?" The princess replied, "I want the moon, but it should be the size of my thumbnail. The moon is made of gold and is on the tree in front of my window." The jester laughed and said, "All right, tonight I will climb the tree and bring down your moon." The jester told the king, "I will bring the princess the moon by tomorrow." The next day, the jester returned with a gold moon made by a goldsmith. He gave it to the princess. The princess got better, but the king was worried. He feared that when the princess looked out the window at the real moon that night, her illness might return. That night, when the moon appeared, the princess began to gaze at it. The jester asked her, "Princess, tell me, if the moon is hanging around your neck, how is it also up in the sky?"
The princess laughed and said, "You are truly foolish. Don't you know, when one tooth falls out, another one grows in its place? Similarly, this second moon has appeared." Hearing this, the king breathed a sigh of relief, and the jester looked quite pleased.